My name is Amber Linwood, and I used to believe Christmas was about family, not competition. Growing up, Mom always said, "Love is the only gift that matters." But that was before my sister, Vanessa, turned every holiday into a performance. Vanessa was the golden child. Perfect house, perfect husband, perfect life. Her social media sparkled with photos of her picture. Perfect family in matching pajamas, sipping cocoa beside a mountain of presents. Meanwhile, I worked a demanding nursing job in Boston, often pulling double shifts just to pay rent. Last year, Mom decided to make Christmas simpler. She gathered us all on a family group chat in November and said, "Let's skip the gifts this year. Just food, laughter, and love." I agreed immediately. It sounded peaceful for once. Vanessa, of course, replied with a cheerful, "Totally. This year's about presents, not presents." I smiled at her text, hoping she meant it, because for once, I wanted to feel equal. Not compared, not pitied, just part of the family. December rolled in fast. Snow blanketed the town, carolers filled the streets, and my small apartment smelled like cinnamon and pine. I spent hours baking cookies for Mom's Christmas dinner, crafting handmade cards, and even crocheting scarves for everyone. It wasn't much, but it came from the heart. On Christmas morning, I loaded my car with tins of cookies and a heart full of hope. I hadn't seen Vanessa in months, and part of me missed her, the version of her that existed before money and pride took over. When I arrived at Mom's cozy farmhouse, laughter echoed from inside. I stepped through the door, shaking off the cold, and was instantly hit with the smell of roasted turkey, pine, and vanilla candles. It felt like home again, until I saw the tree. A mountain of shiny, coordinated boxes sprawled beneath it, all wrapped in gold and silver paper. Vanessa stood by the tree in a designer sweater, grinning ear to ear. Her two kids, Mila and Jakey, were already bouncing with excitement. My smile faltered. I asked carefully, "I thought we weren't doing gifts this year." Vanessa waved a manicured hand and said lightly, "Oh, these. Just little surprises for the kids. You know how hard it is to say no to them." Mom chuckled awkwardly, but I could see it. The tension, the guilt flickering behind her eyes. She'd let Vanessa bend the rule again. I swallowed my disappointment and forced a smile. "Of course," I said quietly. "For the kids." But deep down, something inside me cracked. The next few hours felt like sitting through a live broadcast of the Vanessa show. While Mom and I set the table, Vanessa's voice carried from the living room, loud and sweet. That kind of syrupy tone meant for an audience. "Oh, Jake, look how big you've gotten! You're outgrowing those sneakers! Maybe Santa brought something special this year?" I tried to focus on arranging the plates, but my stomach churned as I heard wrapping paper tear. Then came the gasp. Mila screamed, "An iPad," while Jake shouted, "A new Apple Watch!" I froze mid-step. Mom's smile faltered. "Vanessa, I thought..." "Oh, relax, Mom." Vanessa interrupted with a laugh that could slice glass. "These aren't real gifts. Just small things. Educational, you know. Mila's using her iPad for homework." "Homework?" "Sure." I glanced at the table full of my handmade cookies, still neatly wrapped in cheap paper. Suddenly, they looked like crumbs next to Vanessa's gold-plated generosity. The rest of the afternoon was torture wrapped in polite smiles. Vanessa made sure every moment was a performance. The kids hugging her dramatically, her husband clinking glasses with Mom, and the inevitable comparison that followed. "So, Amber," Vanessa said as she carved the turkey, "still at that little hospital in Boston?" "Yes," I replied, trying to keep my tone steady. "I was promoted to senior nurse last month." Her eyebrows lifted, Fox impressed. "Oh, that's cute. I can't imagine working Christmas Eve though. We flew to Aspen last year. Total game changer for stress." Mom tried to cut the tension with a forced laugh. "Your sister works hard, Vanessa. That's something to admire." But Vanessa wasn't done. She smiled sweetly and said, "Of course. We all have different paths. Some people collect experiences, others collect paychecks." It stung. Not because it was cruel, but because it was designed to look innocent. I looked at her, then at Mom, who stayed silent. That silence spoke louder than anything. it said, "You'll never be her." That night, I drove home in silence. The roads glistened with snow, but my chest burned with anger. I replayed every laugh, every smug glance, every fake compliment. I had spent years trying to please a family that only valued appearances. Vanessa had always won, because she played the role of perfection. But for the first time, I didn't just feel hurt. I felt determined. Because I knew something Vanessa didn't type: appearances can crumble. And when they do, they make the loudest sound of all. That night, I opened my laptop and began typing. Not a message, not a complaint, a plan, a quiet, careful plan that would turn Vanessa's perfect image inside out. One truth at a time. Over the next few weeks, I buried my anger beneath the rhythm of daily life. Hospital shifts, late-night coffee, and the hum of machines that never slept. But underneath it all, something cold and deliberate started to take root. Revenge wasn't about screaming or confrontation. Not for someone like Vanessa. She thrived on drama, on making others look emotional, while she stayed calm and composed. If I wanted to hurt her, it had to be subtle, elegant, untraceable. It started with social media, Vanessa's favorite stage. Her Instagram was practically a shrine to her own perfection. Family brunches, spa days, candid selfies in luxury hotels. Her captions were always carefully crafted. Head grateful if family goals, fed blessed beyond measure. But there was one detail Vanessa couldn't resist flaunting. Her charity work. She had joined a local nonprofit as a board member, something she bragged about constantly. I did a little digging and found that the nonprofit's financials were public. One click led to another, and soon, I noticed small inconsistencies. Donations that didn't match event photos. Sponsors that didn't exist. It wasn't illegal, yet, but it painted a story that didn't fit her selfless mom image. I created a quiet burner account. Nothing flashy, just a faceless community profile that followed local pages. Slowly, I began dropping tiny truths, screenshots, receipts, quotes, like breadcrumbs in comment sections of local posts. No accusations. Just questions. Strange how the gala photos don't match the donation report. Didn't this sponsor close last year? Within a week, whispers began. I didn't stop there. I remembered that Vanessa's husband, Mark, was a financial consultant, the kind who loved to boast about his exclusive clients. I casually reached out to an old friend from college, who worked at a tax firm downtown. With a few details, she confirmed what I suspected: Vanessa and Mark were living way beyond their reported means. Credit cards, loans, all hidden under business expenses. Meanwhile, I made sure to post little glimpses of my life online, not luxurious, but peaceful. Helping patients, volunteering at a free clinic, spending time with my coworkers. Every post was warm, human, real, and people noticed. Even my mom commented once. "You look so happy lately, Amber." I replied, "I'm just choosing peace, Mom." But peace was the last thing I was after. A month later, Vanessa called me out of the blue. Her voice was tight, like she was forcing a smile. "Hey sis. You wouldn't happen to know who's been spreading weird rumors about me online, would you?" "Something about my charity." I paused. "Rumors. I barely have time to sleep, Vanessa." She sighed. "Right. Of course. Just checking. You know how jealous people can be." I smiled to myself. "Yeah. People can be awful sometimes." After that call, I looked at her most recent post. A family picture in matching white sweaters, captioned, "Real happiness is honesty and love." The irony was delicious. But this wasn't over. Not yet. Vanessa had humiliated me in front of family, treated me like the poor sister, the charity case. I wanted her to feel what I felt. Invisible, small, and left out. And I knew the perfect opportunity was coming. Mom's birthday. Every year, Vanessa hosted it in her fancy suburban home. But this time, I planned to take that spotlight from her. Not through lies, but through something far more devastating: the truth. The truth, when revealed at the right time, can destroy even the most perfect image. Mom's birthday was always a big deal. A full-blown family gathering with catered food, champagne, and Vanessa orchestrating every detail like she was producing a royal gala. Invitations were digital, color-coded, and signed off with her signature line, Vanessa Blake, event coordinator and lifestyle creator. This year, I almost didn't get an invite. It arrived late. 2 days before the party with a polite note at the bottom. Please dress appropriately, Amber. We'll have photographers for Mom's Memories photographers. For a family birthday. Typical Vanessa. I smiled at my screen, closed the email, and whispered, perfect. Because this year, Vanessa wasn't the only one with surprises. I arrived right on time, wearing a simple emerald green dress that matched my eyes. Not designer, but elegant. As I stepped into her polished home, the smell of roses and money filled the air. Gold balloons floated above a pristine dessert table, and Vanessa's kids, the iPad twins, as I now called them, were running around, showing off their new Apple Watches to anyone who'd listen. Vanessa greeted me with her trademark, performative warmth. Amber? You made it, so glad you could come. Wouldn't miss it, I said, smiling back. Her husband, Mark, gave me a quick nod before disappearing toward the bar. My mom sat in the corner, laughing with a few guests, completely oblivious to the quiet tension humming beneath the surface. Dinner was served, toasts were made, and Vanessa, of course, took center stage to give her birthday speech. She talked about family, gratitude, and the importance of giving. The hypocrisy was almost poetic. When she finished, the crowd applauded politely. Then, I stood up. I'd like to say something too, I said, raising my glass. Vanessa's smile faltered, just slightly. Oh sure, Amber. Go ahead. I stepped forward, my heart pounding, but my voice steady. Mom, I just want to say I'm so proud of you. You raised 2 daughters who learned very different lessons from you. One about kindness, and the other about how far a lie can go before it breaks. A few guests exchanged uneasy glances. Vanessa's eyes darted toward me, warning flashing behind them. I've been watching Vanessa work so hard on her charity lately. I continued, and it's inspiring. Especially how she managed to raise all that money, without a single legitimate sponsor. The room went silent. Mark froze mid-sip. My mom frowned. Amber, what are you talking about? I looked directly at Vanessa. Oh, didn't you hear, Mom? Some of those donations she bragged about came from companies that don't even exist. And let's not forget her gala. The one she claimed raised 20,000 for children's hospitals. According to public reports, only 3,000 actually went there. A whisper rippled through the guests. Vanessa's face went pale. That's not true. Those are online trolls spreading misinformation. I tilted my head. Really? Because I checked the state filings myself. And it's public record. Anyone can look it up. Someone in the crowd muttered, "Oh my God." Mom stood up now, trembling slightly. Vanessa, is this true? Vanessa stammered, her perfect mask cracking. I don't know what she's talking about. It's just a mix-up. I didn't let her finish. A mix-up. Like when you said we'd all agreed not to do gifts last year, while your kids unwrapped iPads. The silence was thick enough to choke on. Mom's expression hardened, the realization dawning. The guests began whispering louder now, their curiosity turning into judgment. And then came the final blow. I reached into my purse and pulled out a small folder. These, I said, here are the screenshots, records, and financial statements. I thought Mom might want to see how her golden daughter's been giving back to the community. Vanessa's face collapsed. Amber, you're ruining Mom's birthday. I smiled softly. No, Vanessa. You did that the moment you decided your image mattered more than honesty. Then I turned to Mom. I'm sorry you had to hear it like this. But you deserve the truth. With that, I placed the folder on the table, nodded respectfully to my mother, and walked out, leaving Vanessa to face the wreckage of her own lies. Outside, the night air was cold and crisp. I took a deep breath and smiled up at the stars. For the first time in years, I felt free. But what I didn't realize, not yet, was that the fallout from that night was far from over. Because when people like Vanessa lose control, they don't just crumble. They strike back. The next morning, my phone blew up with notifications. My cousin had texted, "Girl, you broke the internet last night." I opened my social media feed, And there it was. A video from the party. Someone had recorded my entire speech. It already had 60,000 views overnight. Comments poured in like wildfire. Finally, someone called out fake family perfection. Vanessa deserved that. Amber, you're the hero we all needed. I hadn't planned for it to go viral. But deep down, I wasn't surprised. People loved seeing masks fall. Especially the shiny, picture-perfect ones. By noon, Vanessa had turned her accounts private. Her PR clients dropped her, one after another. A week later, the local paper ran a story about her charities. Financial inconsistencies. It wasn't my doing. The truth had simply grown legs and sprinted. Mom didn't call me right away. I figured she was processing the shock. But when she finally did, her voice sounded tired. Amber, why didn't you tell me sooner? I tried, Mom. For years I tried. But you were too busy believing in her fairy tale. Silence. Then she sighed. She came over this morning. Crying. Said you've ruined her life. I swallowed the guilt that tried to rise. I didn't ruin her life, Mom. I just stopped letting her ruin mine. There was no reply, just quiet breathing on the other end, before she hung up. That week, the whole town turned into a stage of whispers. People who once worshipped Vanessa now crossed the street to avoid her. Her sponsorships vanished, her business shut down, and her picture-perfect lifestyle started to crack like shattered porcelain. Meanwhile, I felt lighter. I started painting again. Something I'd stopped doing years ago. My small art studio finally came alive, and within months, I landed my first local gallery show. The irony wasn't lost on me. While Vanessa's brand fell apart, my real work was finally taking shape. But of course, Vanessa couldn't let it go. It started subtly. Fake reviews under my art page, hateful DMs from anonymous accounts. Then came the rumor someone claimed I'd manipulated charity documents to frame her. A low move, even for her. When I confronted her, she didn't deny it. I found her sitting in her car outside my gallery one afternoon, sunglasses on, tears streaking her foundation. Are you happy now, Amber? She spat, voice shaking. You've taken everything from me. I stared at her for a moment, my heart torn between anger and pity. No, Vanessa. You took everything from yourself. You built your whole life on lies. I just pulled the curtain back. She looked at me with pure venom. You think you're better than me. I don't think I'm better, I said quietly. I just think I finally stopped pretending we were the same. For a second, something flickered in her eyes. Regret, maybe, but it disappeared as fast as it came. She sped off, tires screeching, her perfect life unraveling in the rearview mirror. 2 days later, Mom called again, her voice trembling. Vanessa's moving away, she said. She's selling the house, the cars, everything. I took a deep breath. Maybe that's for the best. There was a long pause. Then, softly, I owe you an apology, Amber, for never seeing the truth. Tears filled my eyes. You don't owe me anything, Mom. Just stop letting her manipulate you. For the first time in years, she agreed. As I hung up, I realized something powerful. Revenge hadn't been about destroying Vanessa's world. It was about reclaiming my peace. And yet, destiny had one last surprise waiting for me. One I could have never expected. 3 months passed. Life felt calm. For the first time in years, I woke up without that heavy ache in my chest. No drama, no manipulation, no fake apologies. Just peace. The kind you earn through fire. But peace doesn't last long when someone like Vanessa is involved. It started one Friday evening. I was setting up paintings at a charity event. Ironically, one that used to be sponsored by Vanessa's company. My phone buzzed. A friend texted. Turn on channel 8. You need to see this. I did. And there she was, Vanessa Vale, my sister, sitting across from a local news anchor, makeup flawless, voice trembling. I've been misunderstood, she said, blinking dramatically. My sister twisted things because she's always been jealous. I just wanted our family together. I laughed. Actually laughed out loud. The sheer audacity. She was still playing the victim, still acting like the world owed her forgiveness. Except this time, the world wasn't buying it. The comment section beneath the news post was brutal. She's still lying. Didn't she steal from her own charity? Amber was right about her all along. Within hours, Vanessa exposed started trending again. People dug up her old posts, compared timelines, receipts, and donations. The internet turned into a storm of truth, and no one was coming to her rescue this time. Meanwhile, I stayed quiet. No statements. No interviews, I just watched. The next morning, a black SUV parked outside my apartment. When I opened the door, Vanessa stood there, her once glossy hair tied back, eyes red, clutching a box full of documents. "Amber," she whispered, voice breaking. "You win, okay? You win. I've lost everything. My clients. My friends, even Mom won't pick up my calls." I stared at her, my heart both heavy and strangely light. "This wasn't a game, Vanessa." She set the box down and stepped closer. "You could have defended me. You could have told people I wasn't that bad." I tilted my head. "But you were. And I'm done defending lies." Her lip quivered. "So this is it. You just erase me from your life." I looked at her. Really looked at her. The sister who had spent her whole life pretending to be better, richer, prettier, more deserving. But now, stripped of her facade, she looked small, broken. "Yes," I said softly. "That's exactly what I'm doing." She didn't argue. She just nodded, and for a split second, I saw truth flicker in her eyes. Then she turned, walked back to her car, and drove away. That was the last time I saw her. Months later, I received a letter in the mail. It was from Vanessa. Inside was a photo. The two of us as kids, covered in mud after playing in the rain. On the back, in her familiar handwriting, were 5 words. "I wish I'd been different." I sat there, staring at it for a long time, tears blurring the ink. Not because I missed her, but because I finally understood her. She'd spent her entire life chasing love she never believed she deserved. That night, I posted one last message on my page. A photo of my art studio. Sunlight pouring in through the windows. Healing doesn't always mean reconciliation. Sometimes it just means freedom. It went viral again, but this time, for a different reason. Not for drama. Not for revenge. But because people saw something real. Messages flooded in from strangers. "Thank you for reminding us it's okay to walk away. Family doesn't give you the right to hurt someone. You're stronger than most." And for the first time, I believed it. Vanessa disappeared from the public eye. Some said she moved overseas. Others said she started over under a new name. I didn't look her up. I didn't need to. Because for once, my life wasn't about her anymore, it was about me. The sister who stayed silent too long, who finally found her voice, and who learned that the sweetest revenge isn't ruining someone else, it's rebuilding yourself in peace. As I stood in my art gallery months later, surrounded by people admiring my work, I looked up at the title of my newest piece. Painted in bold, quiet gold letters. "No gifts this year." And beneath it, a single line: "Sometimes, not giving is the greatest gift of all." The crowd applauded softly as the lights dimmed, the air warm with quiet understanding. And in that moment, I realized, this wasn't revenge anymore. It was redemption. It was closure. It was freedom.